I'm Nick Ike, and this is how to adjust and tighten the brakes on your bike. Alright, so if you ever have your bike and you notice the brakes are loose, like these ones are here, you'll pull the handle and absolutely nothing will happen. So the first thing you can do if you're riding your bike is right here, this piece sometimes gets loose, so you can tighten it. This will tighten the cable, pull the cable closer to the handle. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's a good thing to try if you're on the go. Then the next thing you can do, what you'll have to do, is adjust the cable itself, which is right here. To adjust the brake cable on your bike, you're going to have to loosen the screw that's clamping the brake cable to the actual brake frame. To do this, for my bike, it's an Allen key. Some bikes it's a screwdriver, some bikes it's a nut and bolt, but you need to use a wrench. Either way, it's right there. It's connecting the brake cable to the frame. And it's the end of the brake cable side you want to find, not the beginning where it comes in from the handle, the other side. So to do that, you take the Allen key or whatever you're using and you turn counterclockwise to loosen it. And you'll see now the brake cable can slide through. So then what you want to do is you want to look at the spacing on the brake pad and the rim, and you want to pull the cable through so the pads on both sides are almost touching the rim, but make sure they are not touching the rim, because otherwise you won't be able to go anywhere on your bike. So right there seems like a good distance. They're not even, but that's the next step. So first we just want to get this cable tightened. Tightening the cable, you want to tighten it up a good amount, but don't strain yourself, because then you'll start stripping screws and breaking everything. Now that we tighten the cable, we're going to notice there's a very, very small gap on this side of the rim, and there's a very large gap between the brake pad and the rim on this side. So to adjust that, you'll see these tiny screws on the side. There's one right here, and there's one right here. What these screws do is you'll see a spring, what looks just like a steel cable, behind the brake assembly. This cable does is when you tighten the brakes, after you let go of the brake handle, this is what pops them back into place so they don't just stay tightened forever. So what we can do is when you tighten this screw, on this side, what happens is it tightens the tension on the spring on this side, so the whole brake assembly will shift this way. If you tighten the screw on this side, the whole brake assembly will shift this way, because the spring on this side is getting tension. So right now, we'll notice the big gap on this side, the small gap on this side. So we should try tightening this side first to push the brake assembly this way. You can see the brake pad slowly moving away from the rim. Alright, now if you look at this side, the spacing is about the same as on this side, which would indicate we are done adjusting our brakes. The other thing I'd like to show you though, is sometimes what happens is the actual pad needs to be either replaced or it just loosens up and it slides down or up. So sometimes like the pad is not centered on the rim itself, then you're gonna have to adjust it. So there's a screw behind the pad. In my case, it fits for an Allen key. Sometimes it's a bolt, sometimes it's a screw where you need a screwdriver. But either way, you loosen this up counterclockwise. You can slide the pad up or down, you can spin it around. You want to line it on the rim. Most pads are rounded to fit the shape of the rim. So what you want to do is you want to put it on the rim, right in the center, so it fits and it's aligned with the rim, the curve of the rim. And once it's right where you need it to be, you can tighten it back up. Make sure you hold onto the pad when you're tightening though, because you're turning a screw, so the pad wants to shift. So you hold the pad down, you tighten the screw. This is another one of those screws you want to tighten a good amount. And then once it's all tight, everything should be good. Just spin the tire, make sure it spins alright, don't hear any rubbing, and then push down on the brakes. Tire stops nice and quick. Try and spin it again just to double check. Push down on the brakes again. No rubbing, tire spins, you're good.